the things I speak over my life. And now I know I am much stronger now. And so despite what the enemy tries, I can rely on the word of God. So now, will I give now? And I can't turn back the hands of time. I can only see only what's ahead of me. So I'm moving forward. I can see the possibilities, and God has given me the abilities. I see my future, and it looks better to me. For if God be for me, who can be against me? There is nothing left for me to fear. Oh, I can only see.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's me. It's your girl, Pastor Sandy Bailey Gwynn. And today, as always, it's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to feel the 90-degree weather. It's a good day to wipe the sweat from your brow, especially when you're over the age of 40. But as always, we thank you, God, that our name was on the wake up list and not the obituary list. Today, it's a little different. Technology is wanting to have its way, but it will not get the glory today. We're going to keep moving forward. If you see me go in and out, it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's because the internet don't want to talk to me. So with that being said, the guest that I will be introducing will take over the show and I'll come back in. So don't fret, don't trip. We still going to move forward by faith. Today, I'm excited. I need for you to share. I need for you to recognize the fact that we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We also, as a nonprofit, we have to have profits. So if you want to donate to Foundations for Living, as we begin to bring strength transformation to students, families, and communities, you can go to PayPal. You can go to Cash App, FFL 2013. Cash App is FFL 2013. And then Foundations for Living, which would be PayPal. Y'all, today, I don't know. I'm excited. I know July is almost over. August is getting ready to come in. And like I said on the last show, what have you done? God has allowed you to see the 7th month. You're halfway. What are you doing? Have you completed your vision board? Have you marked off some things on your goal list? And have you created some things that you wanted to put on your goal list? That's up to you. But I'm asking you, you got a little bit more time, but don't let time get away. Let it be meaningful and useful. Not just for you, but the people that are assigned to you. And with that being said, people that are assigned to you, when I preach, I make this statement. There are people that are assigned to you, and then there are people who want to be attached to you. People that are assigned to you, there are people that are attached to you. People that are attached to you, exactly what that word means. They see something in you and they just want to attach like a leech. But sometimes it's not always reciprocated. You always pouring into them. But they never end up pouring into you. So those are attachments, like a leech. A leech from a dog or a flea will attach itself, suck the blood out, and then they're finished with you. But an assignment is an individual or a person or a place or a thing where there is reciprocation of blessings and usefulness. Assignments. Think about the assignments, people that God has assigned you to. It's not always one way, it's reciprocated. And today I'm excited to bring on my guest who I believe we've been to assign to each other. We've really never worked together before. I've been working with Tracie for going on 3 years because she's the executive director for the Peace Place. So I have to work with her because I'm a board member. But there's another young lady, Jenn, that you're going to meet that we didn't have to work together. But the love that we have for humanity and our brother and our sister, that has brought us together. So today we're going to talk about a curriculum that God gave me called the 4F experience. 4F experience. Again, I want you to share. I want you to like. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Because tonight I need for you to go get your sisters, your niece, your nephew. And if the pandemic has done something to you mentally, where you feel like you're getting ready to lose your mind or you off just a little bit, you need to come in and you need to sit with us for about an hour. The 4F experience talks about faith, fellowship, future, and focus. Faith, fellowship, future, and focus. 4 words that means a lot when it comes to the process of healing. It could be healing in career development. It could be healing in the word of mental health. It could be healing when you have been diagnosed with HIV or you have a loved one that has been diagnosed with HIV. And it means healing when it comes to domestic violence. God gave me this curriculum and I've sat on it for about a year, maybe 2. And the time has come for me to put it out there. And the 2 ladies that I'm getting ready to bring out have trusted me and they're collaborating with me. They're bringing their organizations in, and we're going to do a 8-session, 4-week workshop called the 4F experience. So the first lady I'm getting ready to bring out is Mrs. Tracie Bledsoe from the Peace Place, Executive Director. Hey, honey.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I am good. Tracie, well, okay, tell me your name.
My name is Tracie Bledsoe. I am the Executive Director of Peace Place, and we are the domestic violence agency that serves Barrow, Banks, and Jackson counties.
I am excited for you to be here. I'm going to bring in our other partner, Mrs. Jenn Langston.
Hey.
Hey, honey.
I'm Jenn Langston. I'm the Executive Director of ReBoot Jackson. We are a recovery community organization, which means that we assist people who are getting their lives back on track after experiencing substance use disorder or mental health challenges. And we started out just servicing Jackson County, but we are all over North Georgia now. So we're excited.
So tonight, ladies, we're going to discuss what we're getting ready to launch out for the first time, and that's the 4F experience. I want to thank you in advance for trusting me. It's one thing to sit beside me in a meeting, but it's another thing to trust you with work in somebody else's life. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. Tracie, I'm going to put you in the back room for a minute, the green room, and then Jenn, you and I are going to talk about ReBoot Jackson.
Okay.
So, Jenn, I remember the first time I met you or saw you and your husband. And we were in a meeting for an opioid. And at that time, that might have been 3 years ago now.
I believe so, yeah.
3 years. And opioid it's still taking over. But your concern was this. Y'all been in the community forever. So now y'all want to talk about opioid, but y'all didn't want to talk about rehab. So we got a problem with that. And I caught that. I caught that in your deep voice. Your voice, like, let's talk about what's already here. So what made you decide, you and your husband, to come to Jackson County for substance abuse? And what does that look like in Jackson County?
So my husband and I live in Commerce. We are, he's a Jackson County native. I'm a transplant from Gwinnett. And the idea behind us starting this organization was primarily because we know there's people out here who are bettering their lives. And we also know that there's people who may not be able to afford to go to a $30,000 rehab, or may not be able to leave their kids and their jobs and their families, but they still want to do something different and they still need some additional support. And he and I both went through a training program that is funded by the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. That's a lot. And we became what they call a CARES, which is a Certified Addiction Recovery Empowerment Specialist. Long story short, that means that we are people with lived experience. We are in long-term recovery, and we are able to use that lived experience to help someone along in their journey, to help them set their goals, to help them, just basically walk alongside them and meet them where they're at while they try to get better. So
Jackson County, I think it's like 13,000 strong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have substance abuse here.
Okay.
We're just quaint, comfortable, quiet community set off of 85, North Georgia. We don't have opioid. We don't have methamphetamine issues. No, why are you here?
Well, I can't tell you the exact numbers on how many people have a substance use problem or would self-identify as being someone that uses these substances, but I can tell you that we see about 300 unique individuals in our door every month. So we are serving upwards of 300 people every single month. We provide events, meetings, different opportunities for people to come interact with us. And there are about 1,500 different interactions with people that we have every month. So there definitely are people in recovery in Jackson County. And there's definitely people who are turning themselves around and starting to pay their taxes, make living wages, just be productive members of society. And that's what we want. We want everyone to be able to have the opportunity to do that.
I'm going to go back. You said 300 people in a month. It's 30 days in a month.
Yeah.
So you, maybe about 10 to 15 people a day?
Yeah, depending on the day and what we have going on. If we have support group meetings, there's obviously more people there. We also do some outreach where we will go to people. We go to the prison here in Jackson County and interact with some of the males in the prison. We go out to some of the recovery houses in the community and interact with people that live there. And we just have people drop into us. We work really closely with accountability courts and their participants, people from Advantage Behavioral Health. So yeah, we have a lot of people. And I think that there's a lot more people that don't even know we're here that haven't come in the door yet. So
I'm going to say something that's going to make some people mad. Is there a particular income bracket that walk through your door? Is it poor people that come through there? Is it just black people that come through there? Is it white people that tell me?
No, because addiction doesn't discriminate and recovery doesn't discriminate. We get people from 18 because that's what our funding provides us the opportunity to work with people 18 and older, 18 to 70 years old, people that have trust funds, people that have lived with their parents their whole lives, people that live in tents. We get the whole array of society. And the beautiful thing about it is we all have something in common, and that's why we're here, so we can help each other. But there's no one size fits all for who falls into the category of someone that would start using drugs, and there's no one size fits all for who would be able to stop. So,
Jen, why did you get into this?
I got into this because I personally am a person in recovery. And it has been my experience that when I started my journey, other people helped me do something. And, I wasn't in a position where I could go and be in a nice Passages Malibu treatment center because, like many people that have substance use problems, I didn't have any support anymore because I had burned all my bridges. And so I think that it's very important for us to give people an opportunity to build recovery capital is what I call it. And recovery capital to me means an equitable chance to get the things that you need to move forward in life. So if that means that part of your recovery capital is, getting a ride somewhere, we're going to give you a ride. If part of it is finding a job, we're going to sit down with you and help you fill out applications. And if you can't find a place to hire you, we're going to keep on filling those applications out. And we're not going to let you give up. And that's what's important to me, because I think, I've always been a person that wanted to be of service to others. And I found that the opportunity presented itself for me to use what I had done that I thought was a bad thing in my life. And turn it into something that has actually given me an opportunity, to lift other people up and help them. So I love this work that we do. It's great to me.
Girl, you have blessed me. You just said recovery capital, meaning I'm going to get back everything that the world thought they stole from me. Hallelujah. You just preached a sermon right there, Jen. You just preached a sermon, because some people believe that this is my past, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be your present, and it sure don't have to be your future.
That's right.
Oh my God. Oh, stigma. I'm gonna talk about stigma, and then we're gonna bring Tracie in. How effective is stigma when it comes to recovery?
It's definitely a big barrier. You know, being a person in recovery and being involved in the network of professionals that I'm involved with, I don't see it as much as I used to because I live it out loud and I talk to people and I'm not ashamed and I get my face out there and tell everybody. But, you know, there are people that are afraid, you know, I'm going to lose my job if somebody knows that I used to do drugs 10 years ago and now I don't. Or, you know, people are going to look down on me, or people aren't going to give me the opportunities that they would give somebody else. And so I think that the more people that are in recovery that talk about it, the more we can get that, because, you know, we see you in the bad and busted, but then when you get better, you hide. So I think to me, it's all about the way to break that stigma is that we need to be out loud about it and we need to be sharing it with other people. So that's why I do this. And that's why I'm not afraid to go into a Chamber of Commerce meeting or a government event or, you know, a Facebook Live on YouTube show and tell everybody, you know, that this is my experience in life and this is where I am now, because we do recover. You know, 10% of people in this country are in recovery. 1 out of 10 people. That means if you know 10 people, you know somebody that used to have a problem that doesn't now. So,
oh my God, just that little bit, share this somebody. Call your cousin, call your friend. They may be high right now as we watching it. Call them. I adore you, ladies, of the love and support you pour out into the community, especially the ones who need the most help. Thank you, Tracie. We'll be talking about Tracie because she's one of our coaches, but Mandy, my precious Jenn. So what you've just said has just encouraged so many people, even me. On Sunday, one of my thoughts when I was preaching, one of the points I made is tell your praise report because somebody is waiting. Mm-hmm. Share your praise report. Somebody needs to be lifted up. And right now, this Faith to Move Forward is all about that. Jenn, I'm going to put you back in the green room, and then we're going to bring out Tracie, and we're going to keep it moving. Wow, share this, people. Thank you, Jenn.
Thank you.
Tracie.
Sandy.
Did you hear what Jenn said?
I did hear what Jenn said. It is remarkable. It is remarkable to watch her path, to be able to walk alongside her and you in this experience. It's so inspiring to me to see the amazing work that she does now. You know, she takes her former pain and hurt and mistakes and just it lives it, like she said, she lives it out loud and she rolls it back into the community and she just pours it into other people. It's remarkable.
So with that being said, and you said pours it into the community, you being executive director, and I've had the opportunity to go into hospitals when women have been brought in, physically nose is broke, black eye, and then I'll call you. I've called you in the middle of the night. I've called you in the day. Hey, do we have room? Because we have a mom and a child that is literally running. Your job is not always pretty at the beginning, Tracie, but then we have those praise reports when they're packing their clothes, they're moving out, they're going into shelter, they got a house, their children are in school. That's what we live for. And the one thing that we always say, I hope I never see you again.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we say. So, Tracie, tell the world, what is it like being executive director of an organization, not one county, but 3 counties that you run with your staff?
It is, I am so blessed to get to do this work. I never feel like I go to work. I mean, our work is hard. It's emotionally and mentally taxing. Our whole staff just pours everything that they have into this work, into these individuals that we serve. But I never feel like I'm really working, which is an amazing blessing. So few people can say that, and I know that it's the case. When I go to bed at night, I feel like I've done something that matters. And that's a gift. It's a real gift.
Talk about, because tell them what it is. I know we have transitional, I know we have temporary housing, but a lot of cities that I'm learning too, Tracie, as I'm getting ready to work on a project, a lot of cities do not have a permanent housing where women can go to. In their city, they do not have domestic violence shelters. We're fortunate.
That's very, very true. And, the fact of the matter is we serve 3 counties. We have 1 shelter for our 3 counties. We currently have 16 beds. It's not enough. It's not nearly enough. I mean, that we have plans to expand, and we have a building project on our horizon. But we are fortunate that we collaborate with all of the other agencies across the state. And so, we're almost always full, unfortunately. But when somebody calls us, and if we don't have space, we don't just say, sorry, we're full, call back later. That advocate who's answering that hotline, that somebody picks up 24/7, somebody's going to pick up that phone when somebody calls, whether it's help, I need out, I need you to get me out of here, whether they're saying, this is going on and I'm not really sure, is this even abuse? I need to talk this through. What can you help me with? So much of this, of our role is safety planning with these women who call in, because the first time they call, they're not necessarily ready to go. It's hard. It's hard to pick up and leave your life and leave your home and that partner, even if he's abusive, it takes so much courage to make the decision to leave, and it doesn't happen instantly. So a big part of that role is, let's safety plan with you. Even if you're planning to stay, let's figure out how we can help you do that safely, because you have to know what to do to protect yourself and your children while you're staying and when you get ready to go. That's just such a huge part of the conversation of the services that we provide. But when they are ready, if we don't have space, that advocate picks up the phone and she calls all over the state until we find her bed in another shelter, and we get her there. We provide transportation, we make sure she gets there.
Am I correct to say that normally it's the 8th time when somebody attempts to leave that they actually either leave or they found themselves in a very dangerous situation?
That's exactly right. Statistics say that a woman will go back to her abusive partner 7 times before she finally leaves for good. So you're exactly right. It's the 8th time before she finally either leaves or is killed.
The word for me, and I'm going to connect this with the Hebrew number 8. 8 means beginning again, new beginning. So at that moment, either it's like, I'm going to begin alive, or I'm going to begin, and I may not make it, but I'm going to try my best to begin again. How important, when it comes to domestic violence, your mental health? How important is mental health, keeping your mind asphyxiated on what is important? And as you say, the plan of escape.
It's really the most important aspect, because as long as you see yourself as a victim, you're going to behave like a victim. And that's a huge part of what we do. Good. Is try to empower these women to live independent lives free of violence. There's the whole practical aspect of it. We have to make sure that they have a place to live and an ability to put food on the table and a way to take care of their kids. Because, we as women, we're going to put first things first, and we're not ever going to do anything that's going to jeopardize our children. But the fact of the matter is staying in that situation certainly jeopardizes those children. So it's really about resetting that thought process. And it's a process. It takes so long, because by the time a woman gets to a place where she's being physically abused, she's been emotionally and mentally abused, sometimes for years. It's really just breaking down her confidence, breaking down her self-esteem, so that she eventually begins to believe that she deserves the treatment that she's receiving. That's why she ends up where she is. No woman ever, I say a lot of times, it's not like you say I do on Saturday and then on Sunday he starts slapping you around. If that were the case, it'd be easy to walk away. But it's a slow process. And it's just increasing its escalation. And by the time that it really escalates to serious violence, she's just destroyed emotionally, mentally, and she thinks she's getting what she deserves. So it's really a starting from the beginning and resetting that mindset, telling her over and over again, you are worthy. You are worthy. You do not deserve this, and you can do this. You have it in you to escape this and to start again. It's not easy. I mean, it is so hard, but we have it in us. We all have it in us to start again and reinvent ourselves.
Tracie, you said a couple of things, and I'm going to go back to you. You said, if you see yourself as a victim, then really you will act as a victim. I never will forget in the Bible when Elizabeth, they said for many years, Elizabeth was bearing before she had John. And the people addressed her as bearing. So she began to put on that persona until something in her spirit broke. And you said something. You have to unlearn what you've learned.
That's right.
So I believe in situations, you have to unlearn what you've titled yourself. You have to unlearn not being unworthy and to learn I am worthy. And again, it's a process. And I believe as we're getting ready to talk about the 4F experience, the faith, the fellowship, the future, and the focus, all of that is going to try to unlearn the negativity, the unpositive, to learn what is going to produce wealth in you. How important is it for church leaders, faith leaders, let's say Christians, or whatever your faith is, to be a part of this process, Tracie? How important for us to come into the to the housing and help y'all?
Oh my gosh, it is so important. One of the biggest barriers for a victim to leave is that fear of not being believed. Domestic violence is a silent epidemic because you don't see it. Abusers are very manipulative. They put on a nice face. And it happens in churches. We think it doesn't happen in our community. It doesn't happen in our church. And it does. It just does. And when a woman comes to her pastor, maybe, and confides in him or her that she is involved in a situation, so often the response is, oh no, he would never do that. He's a deacon. He teaches Sunday school. You must be exaggerating. Why are you being so dramatic? Or let's have counseling and try to work it out. And so she's completely dejected and she just goes back. She just goes back because nobody believes her. The first step is believe her. Nobody wants to admit this. No woman wants to admit, when I go home tonight, I'm going to get abused. Yep. I'm going to be hurt. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. Nobody wants to admit that. If somebody is saying this to you and confiding this in you, believe her because it's true. That's the first step. Believe her.
And we're going to put on the table. We also know that men are very much victimized as well. We're going to put that on the table. I don't want nobody to think, oh, we all just women. No, we love women, but we love men too. That's so right. There are issues. There are situations where if you got a nephew, you got an uncle that's being abused. And let's talk about it, same-sex abuse. So, yes. You have that intimacy, the intimate partner abuse and violence that's going on. It's still the same. Abuse is abuse. I don't care where it comes from.
That's right. And 1 in 7 men will be a victim of domestic violence. 1 in 7.
1 in 7.
And think, if it's embarrassing for a woman to admit that she's being abused, think how much more humiliating for a man to admit that he's being abused, particularly if his abuser is a female. You know, it's emasculating. You know, it just makes them feel
less
than, not a man.
And that's why we talk about stigma. Stigma has got to be first defined and made aware of. You got to know what stigma looks like before you can stop doing it.
That's exactly right.
Tracie, this has been good. We get ready to bring Jenn back, and now we're getting ready to launch into the 4F experience. Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being you and for being a part of our organization.
I don't know about that. I cut up too much. So, all right. So what is the 4F experience? The 4F experience, again, I go into it. Before I do that, y'all, please share this. I had more male clients in 2020 than ever before. I believe that, man. I really believe that. And Mandy is a partner in the community too that works very closely with people that are going through transitions of domestic violence and a survivor. So thank you for the work that you do. But I need for y'all to share this. I need for y'all to like it. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Y'all need to get everybody in front of your computer, because Faith to Move Forward is doing just what we're doing. We're moving forward, and we're doing it through faith, through education, through inspiration. So the 4F experience, again, is faith, fellowship, future, and focus. The faith portion, y'all, and this is a 4-week course, Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 6 o'clock to 8. Free event. And I must say, the North Georgia Community Foundation, we praise God for you, because you gave us the funding for this. So we give you ups. I hope somebody is from there. It's the North Georgia Community Foundation, outstanding organization that believes in nonprofit and the work that we're doing. So they enabled us to do this. But 2 days, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, starting the first Tuesday in August. The first day will be faith. We are bringing in people who know that faith has to be a part of the process. Faith has to be a part of the process of recovery from abuse, domestic violence, mental health, HIV prevention. For me, because I'm a faith leader, I believe in faith. Now, my practice may be Baptist, it may be Methodist. I don't care about that, but my faith has got to be the foundation. So we got some great people coming in. One lady will be Minister Monica Williams out of Monroe, Georgia. We have another lady. Jenn, can you tell us about the guests that you'll be bringing in?
Yes, her name is Rebecca Haley, and she attends Free Chapel Church in Gainesville. And she had actually reached out to me a couple of years ago to see how she could help with ReBoot Jackson. And so we've kind of kept in touch, but I think she would just be perfect for sharing her experience with other women and her testimony. And she's really excited to be on board with us. And I hope that we get to listen to her and see what she's been through.
So y'all, with faith, for me, faith has allowed me to matriculate through life, to the process of life, being divorced, raising children by myself, going back to school. How does faith help y'all in your everyday work and with the people that you work with? Tracie?
Wow. For me personally, I think it would be impossible to do this work without my faith. That's where my strength comes from. I know that God is in the work that we do. I know that He blesses what we do. In the power that He gives us to help these women, and more importantly, the power that He gives our clients to rise above and to heal and to start again, it's only divine. There's no way that happens under human power. It just is not possible.
That's good, Tracie. Jenn, what do you think?
I agree with everything Tracie said. And, just running an organization that depends solely on other people funding it is pretty faithful to me.
Yes.
And I've never experienced a time when things didn't come together for us where we weren't able to continue doing what we're doing, because something always works out that helps us do that. And watching people grow and come in and change and get their lives together and get their kids back, like there's no way I can't do that for somebody. You know, I can't, even in all my ego, you know, there's absolutely no way that me or anybody else as an individual can do that for somebody. So it's amazing to, you know, just put things in front of people and watch them run with it, but also to watch them build their faith and, you know that they can take a chance and take a risk, and that, you know, if it works out, it's meant to be. And if it doesn't work out, watching people just pick themselves back up and try something else. And that to me is the ultimate thing that I have faith in.
When I was doing my paper for my master's, of course, it was about HIV, and one of the quotes that came from, I want to say Webb, MD Webb, and it actually said that people have been diagnosed with HIV are more likely to go into recovery or go into care and linkage because of their faith. They're more apt to have that. They have their church support, their faith report, and people to work with them. They're more apt to go into the process of healing, not only physically, but spiritually. So faith to me, it has got to be a part of anything that we do to work forward. The next thing that we'll work on would be what we call fellowship. And that first night we have our very own, and I can't say enough about our sheriff, Janice Maynham. She is one of those people that will tell her testimony as a mom who had a son that was on drugs. She is not quiet with that. She tells her story, but she also tells her story as a mother, as a businesswoman. So she'll be coming in along with us on a Tuesday as a panel to answer all the questions. And also we are wanting to network with each other. Tracie, how important is it for women who maybe have similar situations to connect and say that, oh, I'm not here by myself. You going through the same thing? That's what fellowship night like is about. What do you think about connecting?
I think it's life-changing. It enables us to do things that we can't do on our own. The same way that we find strength in our faith and know that God strengthens us, you also have to have a human standing next to you that you can reach out and grab her hand and say, I need help. And we help each other and lift each other up. And that's how we get through. That's how we make the big changes. You learn from one another. You support one another. Sometimes it's just, give an example. We have a client in our shelter right now who has two teenagers who were being teenagers. And they were just, giving her fits and kind of complaining. And she was, talking to me about it and just kind of grumbling. I said, know all about it. I raised 3 daughters, and we just kind of talked about that whole teenage daughter experience. And I said, she said, I'm just so glad to know that it's not just me.
Wow.
And I said, no, I promise it's not just you, and it will get better. I promise you that. Eventually she'll become a human again, and you'll actually love her. So we laughed, but just that, something as simple as that, is being able to compare our stories and share those little day-to-day burdens. It just makes all the difference. And so when we get to the big struggles in life, if we really have somebody that we can look to and say, oh, you did it, so I can do it. Now tell me how you did it. Tell me how you did it. And we take bits and pieces from each other. That's how we live this life. We have to do it in community. We have to help each other out. We can't do it on our own.
Jen, one of the nights when it comes to fellowship, we're bringing in community partners. We're bringing in a yoga instructor, which is Deidre Blakely. We're bringing in New Grace Baptist Church, which is Pastor Anglin. And we, again, a church. And I personally reached out to him because I'm going to be honest with you. All churches are not equipped to handle all situations. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Some churches do not have the ministries or the capacity to handle mental health. They don't have the capacity to handle domestic violence. So I reached out to Pastor Angler because one, he was on my show 2 weeks ago, and his love, and he don't mind telling his story how at one time he turned away from the church. He didn't turn away from God. He turned and had to go on a sabbatical because he realized that life struggles sometimes will make you just say, I need to walk away. So he'll be coming in. We have Advantage coming in. We have, guys, y'all help me. Who else we got coming in on that night?
The Family Connection.
Family Connection. The reason why, Jen, we decided, I want you to elaborate, why is it important for people to know the resources in their community when they're going through the 4F experience?
I think the most important thing is really easy to network and to talk to people when we're not going through a crisis. And the more comfortable we get with those resources around us, the easier it is to reach out to them when we are going through a crisis. I mean, if I don't know Tracie and something's wrong with me, then I'm, maybe going to be a little bit reluctant to call Tracie and ask her for help if I don't know her. But if I met her several times and networked with her and we kind of have a connection, then it's going to be a lot easier for me to reach out and say, I need you. Also, it may not be me that needs to talk to the Jackson County Family Connection, but if I have a friend that comes up to me later and says, I'm going through this, this, and this, and I can say, oh, I know exactly who I can connect you with. Right. So the more connected we are as a community and the more we know what's available out there, the better it is when we actually need to help somebody. And I think that our community as a whole has a very big pool of resources, and we have people with big hearts that are willing to help and that are all ready to jump at the drop of a hat to go out and help somebody. So it's amazing to get to meet those people.
And we both agreed that, and you said it, we have a lot of resources in the community, but a lot of people don't know about the resources.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to be introduced, as you said, in a time where it's not a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I have my business card. So if I need to talk to someone, or if my husband, because we're bringing in Shane Sims, who's out of Athens, who helped men who have come out of jail back in citizenship. So these are the resources as community stakeholders, that's what I call them, that are here for you. And that will be a part of your 4-week session that you'll go through. The next session is what we call Future. And I'm excited about this because, Tracie, it's one thing to come in the shelter. It's one thing to get your programming, to get your mind right, but you've got to have a future plan.
That's right.
You've got to have a plan of action of what is it going to take. I got my faith in line. I got my mental state in. I got my connections. Now, what do I do with it? So right. Future, we're bringing in a counselor by the name of Latina Slater. Am I pronouncing it right?
Latrina
Slater, who is a family counselor from Jackson County. Awesome lady. But we're also bringing in Tracie Dunn. I forgot Tracie's name. Hey, what is Tracie? Carden. That's it. Thank you, Tracie. Tracie Carden. Tracie is I don't know Tracie's history. I don't think she's ever been abused. But when I tell you this lady has been through chemo, still up, walking around, and one of the top business sellers when it comes to real estate. She has a husband. She has 2 boys. But the reason why God put her in my spirit, I believe, is because she's about her hustle. And I don't mean money. I mean people. She's about living her life to the best of her ability, regardless of what ailment she's going through. And when you have future, you've got to have goals. You've got to have something that's more important in you to make you move forward. And I believe Tracie's family and the community is what drives her. So Tracie and Latrina will be here to break that thing down. Jen, as a person that works with recovery, do you put goal settings or SMART goals in front of them?
Oh, absolutely. We want people to have self-esteem, so we want them to do self-esteemable things. So anyone that comes in, that we ask you, what's your next step? What's your next goal? What are we working for? And then every time we follow up, what have you done for your goal? What's one thing that you can do right now? Because it's not all about taking this big, huge step. It's about getting there in small steps. And so we know that it's realistic for you to do one thing a day, or, one thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. So I think that the best way to reach your goals is to share them with other people and have somebody hold you accountable. And that's what we're here for. We're here to do that with you.
Tracie, what about you? For the ladies that are coming out, I know that we try to have a plan of action, whether it's you stay in the shelter 30 days, 90 days. What happens? I just know y'all try to encourage that.
We do. So our program is always survivor directed. We try to provide resources. We try to provide encouragement and empowerment, but we don't tell them what to do. We don't tell them what they should do. We don't really advise. We talk to them and let them figure out what their goals are, what they want to do, how they want to proceed, and then we try to help them figure out how to do it. We offer some, we try to give them all of the tools so that they can be successful. A big part of our program, like I said earlier, obviously it's the psychological, emotional piece of it, but you have to address all the practical needs as well. We try to eliminate as many barriers as we can, because, if they can't take care of themselves, they're just going to return. If that's 7 times, and a big part of that reason that they return 7 times is because they have nowhere else to go and they don't have the ability to take care of themselves. So it's about empowerment. It's a holistic approach. We approach it from psychological, spiritual, physical, practical. What can we do to help you live a violence-free life?
Good, Tracie. You actually segue into focus, which is our last F, focus. And we added that component with my assistant. She was like, we can do all of that, but if we don't stay focused, if we allow the barriers to turn us away, if we allow the lack of finances, the lack of food, the lack of education, if we don't stay focused on the end goal, we will return back to substance abuse. We will return back to that situation. We'll even return back to mental dark places that trigger us to do things that we don't want to do. So staying focused was very important to us when we unwrapped that. Don't y'all think in that meeting, we was like, that's true. Because anything, if not truly vetted and embedded, we will tilter. Because it's easier to go back not doing than it is to move forward to do it.
Absolutely. It's so hard to move forward and make those changes. Even when we know that what was behind us was bad for us, it's still hard to make that change because it's comfortable. It's what we know. We don't know that what's ahead of us is going to be better. It's a huge step of faith. And you really have to have laser focus on what your goals are to make that happen.
That's good. Laser. I think about the eagle. The eagle is so high up in the altitude of the sky, but it can pinpoint the smallest thing on the ground. And as us, and I'm going to say, as we are creating eagles to move up to situations where you may be by yourself, it may be tight, you may feel like you're losing energy, but when you get to that point, then you're able to look down and say, I don't think I'm going to catch that one. Let me keep flying. Let me stay focused. So on focus, Jen, on that particular day, we are bringing in Deidre Blakely. Some people know her as a radio host. What is her radio name?
Blake McCarran.
Blake McCarran. I think it's 106.7, I think.
That's right, WJBB.
So what people don't know, if you really don't know, is that she is a yoga guru. She is about health. She's about wellness. She's about inside out. holistic meditation, but she loves God. So we thought about her because we're going to let her show the ladies how to use simple technique in devotion and meditation to make you stay focused. Jen, don't you think that particular segment, I believe, is a good way to end this 4-week session, which is focused?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to get us calm. It's going to get us centered, and it's going to give us a way to get from what we were doing to where we can be going. And I think that, that's very important for us to focus on, what we want to do moving forward and what we've gotten out of this 4 weeks and how we want to apply it in our lives. And I think it's going to be amazing.
Trace, what about you?
Oh, I'm so excited at the prospect of reaching so many people. I think we're reaching a broader audience. We're taking our message and the services that we have to offer to people who wouldn't know otherwise. I think that's a huge piece of it. Just that introduction to let them know that we're here and that there is help and they aren't alone. And then the more that come to us, we can do it again.
Absolutely. So let's dive into it. Some of the numbers I wanted to put out here, and this program is open up to anybody. You don't have to be in a domestic situation. You don't have to be in a substance abuse situation. You could be a mom that made it through the pandemic. Period. You made it. You didn't kill nobody. You didn't kill your children because you didn't know A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We understand all that. This is open to anybody. It is a free program. But we want you to understand, we want you to start it and we want you to finish it. Because the material and the resources that are coming out, this is a free program. But if I really had to put a price tag on each speaker, on the food that is being donated free, the place, you're going to be in a very nice area. It's going to be at Cream and Sugar, which is in Jefferson, Georgia. The speakers, I can't say enough about how the community is rallying around mental health and making sure that you are mentally able to move forward to the next step. So I did some research and it said during the pandemic, 29% of an increase with mental issues happened for women. 29%, but only 10% for men. And we understand men had a role to play too. They had some things going on that they had to think about as well. But because we're focusing on women, that number really jumped out at me. Yes, he does. Childhood abuse causes someone to learn to abuse. That is correct. Yes. Childhood, yes, because it is a generational learned experience. And those are some of the things we're going to tackle, Tracie. But even in that, 29% of anxiety, depression increased during the pandemic. Is that a good reason why you need to be a part of this program? So go ahead.
Absolutely. Just like you said, not everybody who attends has to be somebody coming out of a domestic violence situation or that has experienced addiction issues or is in recovery. Of course, the pandemic has affected us all, some more than others, but just living life is stressful. Being a single mom is an incredibly stressful lifestyle. And sometimes you just need support. We all have our own kind of trauma. We all suffer in different ways. And we're, like we said before, we're all stronger together. And this doesn't have to be I can't come to this because I don't have any issues.
Right.
We all have some kind of issue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just because I didn't cuss you out today don't mean in my head I was going off.
That's right. Doesn't mean it won't happen tomorrow either.
Yes, Lord. So, and I'm going to tell you this. Do not put a tag on this. Anybody can come. We got childcare for you. So don't even say, I don't have anybody to keep your children. We have everything to take care of your excuses. So we have some questions here. Can abusers help it? So this is a serious situation, because another question he asked, is childhood abuse a personal disorder? I believe for me, it can lead up into that. What are your thoughts?
So we know that children who grow up in abusive homes are much more likely to repeat the pattern as adults. Boys are 78%. Don't quote me on that, but the statistic is somewhere close to that. More likely to become abusers, and girls who grow up in homes are twice as likely to become victims of abuse. We also know that childhood abuse, kids who grow up in those homes, in that trauma, it actually, and I'm not a scientist, but our brains develop, as children and as we grow, by a consistent firing of the synapses in our brain. And this is how our brains develop normally and how we become healthy, functioning adults who are able to interact with other people. Kids who grow up in homes with domestic violence or other trauma, violence in particular, different kinds of violence, every time an episode like that happens, the synapse is interrupted. So the brain is not developing the way that it's supposed to, because it relies on that consistent firing of synapses. So it stunts the growth of the brain of children who grow up in these homes. So I'm certainly not going to say that it causes a personality disorder, but it does affect their ability to interact with other people, to behave in socially acceptable manners. And that probably explains why they end up becoming victims or abusers themselves in adulthood. And this is why it's so important to address it to as much for the kids as for the adults. And while we try to reach out to the children and teach children what healthy relationships are supposed to look like. And I said boys 78% and not women, because boys are more likely to become abusers and girls are more likely to become victims. That's what the statistics say.
That's true. Good answer. Jen, when it comes to that, we're going to tag that. When it comes to abuse, do you believe that domestic violence, mental health, abuse, is there intersections of each other? They're going to cross eventually. Talk about that, Jen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what causes people to start using drugs or doing some behavior that changes how they feel is trauma. It's a trauma response, and it may not be necessarily an abusive situation, but it's scientifically proven that the trauma response is our reaction to how we were affected by a situation in our lives. Now, not everybody, don't get me twisted, not everybody that chooses to do something like that is someone that has experienced that, but there is a very strong correlation between trauma and abusing drugs or abusing people, behaviors that are unhealthy.
That is true. When I think about the HIV community, again, not all people who have received the diagnosis of HIV may have had trauma. Let's get that straight. But we do understand that some of the things, the reason why it's been transmitted might have been a situation of abuse or sexual abuse or drug abuse. Because I use a scenario, if I'm in a marriage and I find out he's beating me, I get a divorce, I lose my job, then I become a sex worker, not because I like sex, because I need to work. Okay? I'm out there doing what I need to do, but I'm not protecting myself. I'm more apt to be transmitted the HIV disease because of those intersections. And that's what we need to make clear, that this whole path, Foundations for Living, the reason why I work in the lanes, because I want people to see that it's going to connect somehow, whether one tree or the next tree. But we all need to be educated on how we can help the community and not hinder the community. If you can't help me, please don't hurt me. Period.
Sandy, can I please respond to something? Adam has commented a couple of times that he disagreed with the statistics that I quoted, saying because women abuse as well. And that's also true. Women do abuse as well, but those statistics that I quoted I don't have they really don't publish statistics that address that, how likely that's a very good question though. And that's something I'll research. How likely girls who grow up in abusive homes actually become abusers. Those aren't statistics that are available. And I feel like I've seen just about all the stats there are on these things, but you're exactly right. Women do become abusers as well. But the statistics lead towards, for kids who grow up in the abusive homes, that girls are more likely to be victims and boys are more likely to be abusers, possibly because more often than not, what they're seeing is a dad abusing a mom. So they're modeling the behaviors as a male and as a female. If it's something opposite, where a child grows up in a home where mom is abusive, chances are it's backwards, and that the girl would be the abuser. But just because it is more likely that the male is the abuser, that's how the statistics reflect that.
And Tracie, we respect that. And we respect that, Tracie. We thank you for trying to answer that as much as possible with the information that you've given us. That's all we can go by. But we receive the questions and we respect the questions. But if we can't answer the questions, we're going to say, baby, we can't answer that.
I don't know.
We don't know. We ain't even going to lie to you. But I want to go ahead and, as we close out, again, starting the first Tuesday in August, the 4F Experience, it is a free event. We just want you to come. We want you to be a part of growth, a part of education, a part of inspiration, and a part of movement. We don't want to be stuck in the same lane. Being on 285 or 85, it makes no sense to me. Being stuck right there and can't go nowhere. And I got other things moving, but I can't move.
Right.
And that's the way life is trying to treat us. But the devil is a lie. We're going to move. We're going to move out of this pandemic. If the good Lord let us see on the Tuesday in August, we're going to move, and we're going to show you how to move. Go to each other's websites. The Peace Place has the website up. It's already ready. You register. ReBoot Jackson, Foundations for Living. All you got to do is put your name in, whatever few questions, because we need to know who's going to be there, because we want to prepare for you, because we're feeding you. Yes, baby. We're not giving you no cookies and no ice cream. We're giving you some meat and some bread. We're going to make sure that you eat, because Jesus fed them before he fed them. We're going to make sure that you have child care. And we're bringing in, again, some of the best instructors in the community that has a heart for what we do. So, Tracie, what's your nugget for the people to encourage them to come? What is bringing you here?
Wow. What I want is for every single person out there, male or female, to know that he or she has it inside. You have it in yourself to escape whatever situation you're in, and to improve your life, and to move to that next level, and to achieve your goals and be where you want to be. It is in you. You can do it. And we're here to help you. It takes a community, and rely on us, rely on those around you. We love you. We don't know you yet, but we will. We will know you, and we will love you, and we will help you.
Amen. What about you, Jenn?
What's bringing me is connection. And, there's this proverb that we always quote, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with a crowd. And I think that we are going to meet our crowd, and we're going to be more connected to other women in our community. So I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
I am too. I want everybody to know this is a diverse group. You notice I'm Black. My sisters are white. If you cut either one of us, there's one thing that's going to be common. Our blood is going to be red. and our heart is going to beat towards whatever God is calling us to do. So don't get it twisted. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's not an Asian thing. It's not a Latino thing. It's a woman thing. It's a humanity thing. It's a help thing. And the program is designed to do that. So again, I want to thank North Georgia Community Foundation for granting us this program. I want to thank Gilead Science, baby. 12 months. Y'all have committed to fund faith to move forward, and I appreciate you. I'm just excited. I'm getting ready to sign off. We're gonna let Tracie pray. Then I'm gonna come back with some few announcements that's coming up. Tracie, you pray, and then I'll come back.
All right. Father God, we just thank you so much. We thank you for this opportunity to be together and to talk tonight and just talk about what's important to us and hear what's important from our community and just listen to where you want us to go and what you want us to do with the blessings that you have given us. God, we're so grateful. We are so thankful for this opportunity. We're so thankful for the love and support that you give us. And I just ask that you would infuse us with your power and with your love, and you would help us to share that with every single person that we come in contact with. God, I pray that you would bring the people to us, that every single woman in this community who needs to be a part of this program, I pray that you would just direct her to us. I don't know how, but you do, and you know how to make that happen. And I'm just looking to you for your help with that. We thank you. We praise you. We love you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Reverend. Wonderful, Tracie. Wonderful. Okay, Darius, let's go to the announcements. Outstanding. Girl, you said infuse us.
I can see the possibilities, and God has given me the abilities. I see my future, and it looks better to me. For if God be for me, who can be against me? There is nothing left for me to fear.
All right.